The Haval brand has no doubt taken the whole South Africa by storm. It has basically dominated the mid-sized SUV market, which is why today I've taken documented drive down to Haval in Sandton to have a look at this. This is the H6 GT in all of its glory, and the most exciting thing about this particular SUV is not the fact that it looks beautiful, it's not the beautiful paint job, it's the GT suffix, because we all know GT in any vehicle implies speed, power and performance. So in today's video we're going to have an all-round look inside and out of the GT to actually look what makes it worthy of being a sports SUV as Haval claims. The Haval H6 GT is the flagship SUV in the company's H6 line and a sportier version of the standard H6 SUV. The 2-liter H6 GT is more powerful than the standard H6 and costs about 40,000 rands more than a non-hybrid high-spec Haval H6. It is available exclusively in a super luxury package which includes permanent 4-wheel drive, black 19-inch wheels with color-meshed side mirrors and day-glow yellow brake calipers. Its rear design features 2 spoilers and embraces a coupe-like design layout. At the front, you get an aggressive aerodynamic bumper design with a split grille array. The side profile of the GT is reminiscent to that of the Jaguar E-Pace. The design philosophy of the GT is so unique that it points it towards various competitors, including the Mazda CX-30, Subaru Crosstrek, Honda HR-V, and the Toyota CHR. The H6 GT carries the same xenon headlamps and fog lamps from the standard H6. They blend in well with the sporty design and are not immediately recognizable as carryovers from another design. The massive bumper dominates the front end and is colored to match the rest of the bodywork. Its design is sleeker, more angular, and makes way to a split grille array that instigates the sporty look. Carbon accents grace the lower front end of the GT, and their black contrasts against the body paint, which comes in a choice of 5 colors, facilitates the sporty and aggressive look. The 19-inch wheels are finished in gloss black and are colored to match the wing mirrors, a feature that comes standard across all H6 GTs. The flared wheel arch insets are also finished in black and are connected to the side skirts, which make up part of the vehicle's aerodynamic package. At the rear, you get dual carbon spoilers and a sporty diffuser, all of which are blacked out and form part of the aerodynamic kit. The GT also uses a carbon fiber visual accent in lieu of the horizontal LED strip as found in the standard H6. The exhaust tips terminate into dual rectangular chrome outlets that brandish the sporty look of the SUV. The dashboard of the H6 GT features double green stitching coupled with ambient lighting that runs across the interior. These are 2 features that set the GT apart from the rest of the H6 line. The rest of the dashboard is minimalistic in design, and it is no far cry from that of the standard H6. You get the floating center console, on top of which sits a rotary gear selector and an e-brake button. Above these sits a panel that consists of the climate control, the hazard light switch, and parking sensor controls. There is a storage on the left side of the gear selector in addition to the front for objects like phones and wallets. A wireless charger and a 12-volt dashcam power outlet come standard in the H6 GT. The vehicle also features an automatic dual-zone climate control system with 4 air vents at the front and 2 at the rear. The heated front seats are covered in leather and Alcantara, and they feature a 6-way electric adjustment for the driver and a 4-way electric adjustment for the passenger. They also boast the double green stitching along the edges and a color-matched GT embroidery on a swath of black Alcantara at the back. The steering column is thin-rimmed and is wrapped in faux leather. It also features 2 pedal shifters, a feature that is available exclusively in the H6 GT line. The double green stitching continues on the inner rim, and the airbag hub is framed by 4 chrome spokes, the upper 2 of which feature infotainment and vehicle controls on either side. Chinese SUVs shine the brightest in aspects that are concerned with the rear head and legroom. This is true because sitting inside the Haval H6 GT, the first thing that really wows me is how much headroom I have back here. Now remember, this is a coupe-like SUV, which means that especially at the back here, it will slope downward, which you would expect for that to affect headroom, which in this instance, it has not at all. There is ample head, there's ample legroom, there's ample shoulder room. I can actually sit and kick back. I'm quite a tall guy, 178 centimeters, and the seat here, the driver's seat, has not been moved in any way. This is a driver's normal position, and I can actually sit and cross my legs and recline to the best of my abilities. And the rest of this rear compartment is pretty comfortable. I can actually see the part where the roof begins to slope downward, but even though that's the case, it's not affecting me because I can move my head nicely without having to actually worry about anything. Moving on to the rest of this rear compartment here, you do have some nice to have features, like for example these 2 rear air vents here, which feed from the front, the climate control at the front, and you have got very convenient these 2 USB-A chargers here, charging ports, 2 of them for the rear passengers. This is very helpful because in cars these days you do need to charge your phone as you go to connect it on the infotainment system, etc. And also moving on here in the center console, you actually fold out and you find this center armrest with 2 cup holders here. All of this, by the way, is covered in bits of leather, in bits of carbon, in bits of Alcantara as well. And the GT embroidery is also the same at the back here as it is at the front. And there's this beautiful green strip that runs across the seat just to remind you of what car you are currently set in. Overall, set here, I am very comfortable. There is ample room to move about. In fact, I'm convinced that you can actually sit 3 full-grown adults here. Although there have been mixed reviews about the comfort of the H6 GT, sitting here, I can definitely say that I'm very comfortable and I'm very pleased with everything, because one of the most important things of having to sit 3 people at the back is shoulder room. You must have room to wiggle about. And I mean, although there are no 2 people here, but I've got a feeling that I would be able to sit here as comfortable as possible. And one other thing to actually take a note of is that this part here, right, in most vehicles, this part would normally be a huge hump. This is where the car's drive shaft will normally run through, but in the Haval H6 there is absolutely no hump. This is a beautiful flat space, which makes it very easy for me to just kick back and to relax and to just lay out my legs as I wish to. So Haval have made this vehicle as comfortable as possible at the back. Now you do get this beautiful nice little illuminating lights here, as well as these door grips like so here, and all the luxury from the front carries into the back. You do have these nice chrome finishes along the side doors here, these beautiful carbon finishes, Alcantara along the door. Everything in this vehicle is just replicated from the front all the way through to the back. So sitting at the back of the H6 GT, you don't feel like you are missing out on anything, on any comfort, on any convenience that is happening at the front, simply because everything that you have going on back here replicates what is happening at the front. Back to the review. Now, the one aspect that gives me a bit of cause for concern as far as the Haval H6 GT is concerned is the boot space. Now, this being a coupe-like SUV, The obvious thing that you will note is a diminished vertical boot space, and the same is true in this particular H6 GT as well. Because the design follows a coupe-like philosophy, you find that the vertical space has now been diminished to actually accommodate that particular design, which means that the vertical boot space will be very much eaten into. In as much as this does not affect the headroom of the rear passengers, it does unfortunately affect the vertical space of the boot, because it's too bad I don't have anything to demonstrate by. However, if you do actually put a piece of cargo, which in this instance myself, if you attempt to close the boot lid, my head will actually bump against the door's window, because the vertical space in this boot is very short. It's not actually very tall at all. With that said though, the horizontal space is actually standard in the sense that you can actually fit as many bags as you like without necessarily having any issues. The only problem start as far as the vertical space is concerned. And also there is also a cargo cover on the boot here, which you can actually pull to actually cover any precious cargo that you have, to prevent those people who are very curious from actually accessing the boot of your vehicle. Otherwise, if you wish, you can just stow away this cargo cover to allow for more space to put your taller objects. But like I said, the vertical space of this boot is not the best I've seen in an SUV, simply because it is a coupe-like SUV. So I guess there was a bit of a giveaway as far as that particular aspect is concerned. That said, however, not a deal breaker at all. Now, if we check out what's underneath here, we open this part and you find a spare tire. This is a fire extinguisher. That is a red triangle for emergencies, and then you find a lot of other utilities as well, like your jacks, your wheel spanners, etc, etc. Interesting enough, this compartment here also does have some other openings for your extra tools. So it's not just openings like slots for tools that you need, it's actually openings as well for other tools that you might have to use as well. You've got side pockets to put extra little things. This is actually a cargo cover. This is the cargo cover I was talking about. Covers your precious cargo to avoid curious people from actually looking into your vehicle. And this is actually completely removable should you wish to do so. And then this is pretty much the boot space of this H6 GT. In as much as the H6 GT is not a perfect SUV, it does get as close as possible to perfect. And that, in my books, is what makes it a car. No car is perfect out there. This one, I mean, I've never seen a vehicle that is executed as an SUV, as a coupe, but still maintains that much headroom, that much legroom in the rear. And this one does so perfectly. Outside, it looks beautiful. It's a looker. It looks very slick. It looks very aerodynamic. Inside, it's as practical as ever. And that, in my books, definitely makes it an SUV worth considering. So if you are in the market for an SUV that is sporty, that looks good, that is practical and affordable to carry the family around, not to mention safe, 5-star rating, the H6 GT is definitely your best bet. I hope that you guys have enjoyed this video as much as I've enjoyed making it for you. Stay tuned for the next one, and if you haven't yet, do consider subscribing and let us interact in the comment section below. What do you guys think of this vehicle? What would you like to see in this vehicle? What would you like to see less in this vehicle? Let's interact in the comment section below. Thanks everybody, take care.